On a recent episode of Jonathan Ross, which is a UK chat show, we had Rocky himself, Sly Stallone, talking to the Gypsy King via a video link. Neither man was present. And you do expect a little bit of backslapping to occur, right? Both guys on top of their game. Sly is a legit legend. Tyson Fury's trying to get there. But at one point, Sly stops the conversation and says, look, I'm a bit of a boxing historian. And I think that this big guy here is basically the best heavyweight head-to-head there's ever been. You match him against any of the other top guys in history, they come to his era, maybe vice versa, and he just wins. That's what he's saying. Tyson Fury in a historical round robin with all the heavyweight greats comes out on top. Sly Stallone cited Tyson Fury's size, his ability to move at that size, and the way he can recover in desperate situations. He sees that as too much of an overall package for anyone else to deal with. And then worryingly, you get all the sea lions just clapping like, yeah, I'll go along with that. That makes me feel good. And that's the whole point. On the other side of rose-tinted spectacles, we have recency bias, where people love to believe that whatever's happening in their era is the best. It reinforces this positive emotion that, yes, I'm living in truly great times. I've got the greatest boxer here, I've got the greatest baseball player, whoever it is. You want to go along with that sentiment because it has such a big, like dopamine, if you will, emotional reward. If you slow it all down and think, hang on a minute, Muhammad Ali only passed away 2016. It's truly disrespectful to try and indulge such a position. Okay, so let's try and tackle this on a logical playing field. Tyson Fury is big and he's undefeated. Now, how big is he? He's not 6'9". A lot of people have said, look, he's pushing 6'8" at best. That seems to be the case. And if we repeat it enough, hopefully that will become the consensus. So let's just put 6'9" away. He's undefeated. Okay, he's only had 30 fights though. 5 world title fights, 3 against the same guy who basically lost all 3 times. That kind of dilutes it when you put things in perspective. Size, how important is size? It's obviously not the most important thing because otherwise Nikolai Valoev would be the greatest guy of all time. So people tailor their argument. They go, well, no, what I'm saying is that he moves so well for a big guy. Okay, yes, he moves well for a big guy being the key point. I said it in a previous video when I was kind of previewing the fight we'll hopefully get between Fury and Usyk, which is Fury moves well relative to his size. If you put him against a Muhammad Ali, who people so just like easily dismiss there on that chat show, Fury would now be the slow guy. He would be the cumbersome one. Yeah, sure, put him against the totally hopeless Dylan White. Fair play, he's game and he's got heart, but his technique is so poor. He's going to look like $1 million. Put him against Muhammad Ali and Fury is the slow one. And a key point about range that Ali's trainer Angelo Dundee once made is that it's really about where your feet are. Positioning right. And so Muhammad Ali, with his quicker and yes, better footwork, is going to have a real big say in when and how they engage. There's going to be so much speed and guile that Fury may never see in his career. So for the casual audience who so easily get behind those overinflated statements that like Sly made, they just look at boxing like rock'em sock'em robots. Oh, that guy's bigger. Yeah, Ali's not going to be able to do anything. Times have changed. No. Boxing is different to other sports. You are not including all those other variables which are going to affect the outcome. And we don't just have to get fixated on Ali, do we? I think most people who know their boxing would pick a prime Lennox Lewis over Tyson Fury, going off everything we know right now. What about a prime Evander Holyfield? The guy who took it to Riddick Bowe 3 times, beat him legitimately in that second fight, able to get the better of him on the inside when Bowe was such a good inside fighter. You see, certain things happen that on paper don't seem to make sense. Smaller guys, as we saw with Cunningham against Fury, are able to turn supposed disadvantages into advantages. The speed, the awkwardness. You think Joe Louis back in the day would just flop against Fury regardless of who you think would win? No. When you have guys with that much substance, they are going to cause trouble. Do you think Fury, just because he's bigger than George Foreman in terms of height and weight, do you think he was stronger than George Foreman? Nah, bruh. He might be able to lean himself on Foreman and use certain advantages with leverage, but stronger than Big George, no. Size and strength, it's not just to do with your height and weight, it's to do with how you put together. I made a similar point on an older video I did with Sonny Liston. Certain guys are just put together in a certain way, which has all kinds of explosive potential or incredible strength. Sometimes you get people who try to reduce Mike Tyson and say, oh, he was only 5'10", 5'11". No, that was Mike Tyson, who was built like a human bulldozer and had unbelievable speed. It's a different situation. And yeah, okay, we go back to the original point that Fury is a very mobile guy for his size, for a very elongated individual. But he doesn't move that smooth, does he? He is kind of awkward. He can fight up close, but then the limbs, those long limbs, aren't ideal for the mid-range and close combat. So if he did try and mug someone like a Joe Frazier, or thought he could, and what your brain might tell you because he's taller and heavier, he might actually open himself up to, as Stone Cold once said, a can of whoop-ass. The Gypsy King probably is the top heavyweight in the world right now, though he does need to underline that status with a victory over Usyk, no questions asked. In an ideal world, he would also fight Joshua. He would fight Joyce. He would have his 10-year reign, as he was once joking about. Then we might be able to go along with what Sly said without laughing. Because right now it is just a classic example of recency bias.